How's it going, guys? It's Adam here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Samsung Galaxy S3 in 2024. How does it hold up almost 12 years later? So, the Samsung Galaxy was released back in May of 2012 and was definitely an upgrade over the Galaxy S2. It had several upgrades, including a better screen, better RAM with basically 1 GB of RAM on this model, and more storage, as well as a variety of other things that we're going to be talking about in this video. Let's start off with this design. So, this design honestly has not held up that well. It's basically a plastic back that obviously does not do very well with dirt, and then has also plastic sides, and honestly, it feels really cheap. One nice thing is that if you see right here, you can actually remove the back of this phone, which means that this is, removable back, which means removable battery, which is pretty great. Right here, we do have an 8 megapixel camera along with a speaker on the back, which is pretty odd, as well as an LED flash. At the top, we have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. At the bottom, we have the ancient micro USB. Right here, we have the home button, and then on the side, we have these two buttons. This goes back, and this right here, this gives you a bunch of options, such as setting your wallpaper and stuff like that. So, yeah. There's that. And then over here, we have a 1.9 megapixel camera as well as the Samsung logo. And this is an earpiece speaker. It does not use as really a full-on speaker is what I'm trying to say. Let's talk about this screen. And there's a lot of good things about this screen, actually. Well, a few good things, I'll say. This is a Super AMOLED panel, which means that this is going to have deeper blacks than an LCD panel, which is really nice. So that also means that back in the day, these AMOLED screens did not get very bright. This is on full brightness, and we can even do auto brightness, and it will not get bright at all. You can see right here. So even if I turn all the way up, it's not even really bright out. I mean, it is bright out, but it's pretty cloudy, and you can barely see the screen, and I'm not even outside. So, and the viewing angles aren't great either. So you can tell you can't even see the screen by that point. And honestly, yeah, it's not too impressive. However, what I will say is that this is a 720p screen, which is pretty nice because it is pretty detailed. I don't think it's a full-on Retina display, but it's pretty close to there. This is about 300 ppi. And so a Retina is about 326 ppi. And so as a result, you can see some pixels, but it isn't too noticeable or anything like that. Before I continue with this video, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're doing awesome with the amount of views and amount of subscribers we're getting, so just keep on subscribing. Anyways, let's get back into the video. Okay, so let's talk about this camera. This is an 8 megapixel camera with autofocus, and that's basically it. I mean, there's not much to say about this. It is 1080p at 30 FPS, which is nice, but besides that, this isn't that impressive. So there's a really low amount of HDR, as you can tell, especially in the viewfinder. So for example, over there, those trees, you can tell that, well, in real life, they're not that dark at all. So you could tell they're not dark at all. But on this, they're very, very, very dark. The sky is also, it doesn't show any details in the sky, really. But I would say that the ground looks all right. You know, some things, I guess there's an okay amount of detail. But besides that, there's nothing too special about this camera. I would say this is pretty comparable to something like an iPhone 5 or 5S. So this is a 1.9 megapixel camera, but honestly, it does not even look like a 1.9 megapixel camera. It looks even worse than that. This is really bad. I mean, this is probably just as bad as something like an iPad 2. The reason why is it's not because it's that low in detail, it's just mediocre in detail. The biggest reason is that it's so bad with the colors basically. So in terms of the exposure, so completely underexposes my hair basically, and then kind of sometimes overexposes my face like this. So it honestly looks terrible. And then the background is completely dark, even though it's not completely dark in the background. So yeah, honestly, this is really unimpressive. So let's talk about performance. So the performance on here, we're right now running Android 4.3. And as a result, you really can't install any apps at all. I mean, obviously, if you custom ROM this or something like that, you probably can. But with this, it's essentially impossible to install anything. Now, partially it is because it's Android 4.3, but the other reason is because the performance is so bad that sometimes I can't even get into the Play Store. It's just that bad. The good thing about iPads and iPhones and stuff is that even stuff like the iPad 2 or the iPhone 4S, which were upgraded to iOS 9.3.5 and suffered terribly, they at least had, you know, it's not usable performance, but it's definitely more usable than this. Anything that you open either crashes or is just so slow to load that it's just absolutely like ridiculous. What I will say about this is that when I was trying to open up the camera app for the first time on here, it took about 30 seconds. I tried to take a photo. It didn't save the photo. I tried to exit out and then go back into it, and then it crashed. So that was only like 5 minutes ago. So as a result, this performance is, yeah, really mediocre. I guess what I will say is that like home screen performance is okay. So if you're going, you know, if you're switching between going into the like the list of apps or anything like that, or if you're going, you know, from like this home screen to this home screen, it's fine, but still it's just not great. So in conclusion, should you get this phone in 2024? Absolutely not. There is really nothing good about this phone. At the time, it was pretty good. It was pretty groundbreaking. It had a better camera than its competitors, and also the performance was pretty good at the time. However, all of those aspects have suffered now, especially the plastic back, the camera, and the performance. So, as a result, this is not worth it, no matter really what price. I would say the only thing that it's good for is a good collector's item. This is a kind of interesting phone to look back at. It's really unique in terms of its software. I think this Samsung OS is actually really creative. I like this way more than the new One UI. I really like the icons, and so as a result, I think that this is actually a pretty nice piece of technology just to collect. But anything besides that, I would not recommend this phone. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. And anyways, guys, peace out.